Hello again. We are working today on lessons for lesson 4 and 5, and you will be doing the homework pages for those. So today's lesson is about reading bar graphs. But we are going to go back and take a look at this picture graph to recall our last lesson. So this is how many people chose football or baseball as their favorite sport. So in this one we want to both look at the football and the baseball answers. So here's football. Here's baseball. So go ahead and decide what your choice is going to be. If we add those up together, there's the answer. We see that the 6 people who like football plus the 3 people who like baseball give us 9 people who voted for those 2 sports. Our question today is, how can you create a bar graph to show data? So a bar graph is similar to a picture graph, but instead of using pictures, it uses these boxes and a number line to keep track of how many there are. So we're going to work through this one together. They've given us our tally marks for the different types of cars that we have. So we have a sedan, SUV, truck, or taxi. And each one of those has our different tally marks. First thing that we need to do is to write in the number, our total numbers over here. So this one has 5 and 3 more is 8. If I can make an 8, there we go. SUVs have 5 and 3 more, so another 8. That one looks better. The truck has 3, and the taxis have 5. Now to fill out our bar graph, I'm going to make that look more like an 8. To make our bar graph, we're simply going to color them in, and I'm going to use different colors to make it exciting. So for our sedan, we have 8, so we just color over to the number 8. And what you can do is either start here, and there's one box, and go this way, or you can start at the last number, 8, and color it in this way. So that way I know where I'm stopping and I can just color it in. That makes it really nice and easy. So our SUVs, we'd have 8 as well. There's 8, and I can color it backwards. I'm not going to color it all the way in so it doesn't take as much time. Trucks had 3, so I find the number 3. There's 3 boxes. I color that in. And our last one is taxis, and they have 5, so I would color those in. And that is how we'd make a bar graph. So we can see, we can't see. We can see. There's the answers. Here's the answers that they've given for us, so we can see that they match the one that we made. Now in this one, it says use the tally chart to make a horizontal bar graph. So in this one, the label that we're using for our survey or our graph goes across the bottom or across the horizon. So this is a horizontal bar graph. Whereas in our last example, the different categories were stacked on top of each other, so that is a vertical bar graph. They can be written both ways. There is not one that's better or worse. They both work great. So for this one, we have to fill in the tally marks and write the totals. So in a survey, 4 artists paint using watercolor. Okay, there's my first bit of information. 5 artists paint using oil. 2 artists paint using pastel, and I need to use that to fill in our chart. So 4 for watercolor, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 for oil, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then remember 5 goes across. And for pastels, we have 2 artists who chose to use that. And then I just fill in the totals. This is the easy part, reviewing what we've learned. Now I'm going to convert these numbers to my bar graph. So I find watercolors, and I'm going to go 4, and there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The oil has 5, so I'm going to go all the way up on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oops, kind of got over into that one. And then pastels have 2. So I just go up to 2. And that is how we would make our horizontal versus vertical bar graph. And there you go. You can see there's all filled in, all nice and pretty. And we're going to skip this question, and we're going to move to this one. This is our vocabulary word, bar graph. So a bar graph uses bars to show data, whereas a picture graph uses pictures. They kind of are self-explanatory. To make a bar graph, color one box for each vote. Bar graphs can look different. Here's our vertical way and our horizontal way. All right, so how are bar graphs different from picture graphs? Bar graphs use bars, picture graphs use pictures. So now we're going to take a look at how we can use picture graphs to, bar graphs to answer our questions. So this was our survey. They were surveyed to find their favorite type of wheeled transportation, bicycle, scooter, and skateboard. We're going to use this graph to answer our questions here. What do these shaded units represent? What does this red bar mean? It shows that each one of these red bars is one bicycle. Each blue one is one scooter, and each green is one skateboard. How many units are shaded green in the skateboard column? I can look, I come up to the top and say 4, or I can just count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many students chose a bicycle? I can look again and see 5, and how many students chose a scooter or skateboard? That would be our, or we have to add them together. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Last question is how many students were surveyed? And remember, to find the total, we add up all of the boxes. So 5 plus 4 is 9, and 2 more makes 10 and 11. So how many students surveyed was 11. So there we go, we can see the different answers for this one. That one's not one we're going to do, so I'll skip over it. So for this one, we would create our own bar graph by surveying people about which dinner they liked and then filling it in. So if we're going to say, let me get my writing tool. I'm going to say 6 people like chicken and broccoli. 3 people, well, let's see, we got to do 9 people liked pizza. 5 people like spaghetti. Milk and cookies for dinner. I think 10 people would say milk and cookies for dinner. And then we can look at our information and fill it out for down here. So again, I would just look here. I have 6 boxes. Pizza was 9. Spaghetti is 5. And milk and cookies was 10. Now the one thing that might be a little tricky with bar graphs is you might be looking at the number 4 and saying that this box is 4, but it's actually for 5. So make sure that you do double check where 0 and 1 are. So this box is 1 and this box is 2, just so that you're not putting a number either more or less. So you'll be doing 2 homework pages today, one making graphs, bar graphs, and one of them answering questions about bar graphs. So good luck.